It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
This is the Cosmick Voice. Cosmick Voice. Music, talk, and nothing but business with your hosts, Chris Nanolini and Nick Michaels. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cosmick Voice. This is Season 4, Episode 4. I am here with my very rough-speaking co-host, Chris Nanolini.
What is up, everybody?
And I am Nick Michaels. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another show. Chris, how are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. Excuse me. Jeez, I'm already starting. You'll have to excuse my voice for all the listeners out there. I'm getting over being a little sick for the past couple days, so messed up my throat/voice by constantly vomiting for 2 days.
Fabulous. There's a visual. So you're saying it's not COVID related. There's another kind of sickness out there.
It is. It was a little stomach bug that I got and put me down for a couple days. And actually today is the first day I kind of feel more like myself. Although I don't sound like myself.
You sound it. You sound like Reds with 2 Z's.
Other than that, I'm doing okay. Other than that, so you'll have to excuse my voice for this evening for tonight's show. But we are Season 4, man. Everything's good, brother. Everything is good. How about you?
I'm great. I'm fantastic. I'm sure the listeners at home right now are kind of like curling up in the spine as if the fingernails were going down the chalkboard listening to the Razor Blade DJ host. That's what we'll call you. Razor Blade Nanolini.
Nice. I like it. I can tell you that it definitely hurts. What you hear, it hurts.
Oh, it sounds like it hurts. You know what I'm saying? It definitely hurts.
So everything's good on your end, man? You're all good?
Everything's good. Always trying to stay as busy as I possibly can. You know, you throw as many things at the wall, hope something sticks. But I find that they fall down. I got to pick them back up again, throw them a couple more times. Maybe I'm getting weak in my old age. Or maybe they're all just not worth throwing to begin with, and I haven't accepted that yet. But anyway, that's where we're at. So, without further ado, and to save your voice, we're going to get right to the show topic. No more Boba Fett or Star Wars or Disney this week. Hey, but with that said, if you go back to our first episode of Season 4 here, Spotify or Get Off the Pod, it seems that our buddy, Uncle Neil Young, he's back on Spotify.
I saw that. So I did see that. I meant to message you that the other day, and I got sick. So,
so that didn't last very long, did it?
Yeah. Well, listen, man. You know, now not to go off on a tangent, I don't know this. Do you know a reason why he's still on there? Like, I mean, did you read anything?
I haven't heard anything. And now
I wonder if
he was off. He was off for a while.
He was?
It was maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks tops. I'm not exactly sure, but he's definitely back on. There was an outcry. Please bring Mr. Young back to Spotify. So sometimes the almighty dollar kind of outshines anything that may be misinformative.
Yeah.
A lot of people's, that soapbox gets pulled away very quickly when the almighty dollar is tugged on. So some people like to tug on the heartstrings. Other people like to tug on the wallet strings.
Right, man. Listen, we talked about it in the first episode. Censorship is censorship, no matter how you look at it, whether you agree or disagree with what he was trying to say. At the end of the day, it's censorship, and that's not cool. It's not cool.
Well, in any case, shape, or form, he got 3 weeks of pretty much free publicity, and which probably helped his... Yeah, and a Sirius XM channel.
And a Sirius XM channel.
Which all probably helped his catalog to and fro. Yeah. So there you have it.
Sure, man. Sure.
So, on with episode 4. So, tonight we're going to cover this topic. We've covered this topic kind of before in different ways. We've been asked about it. It's probably one of our most popular questions that come through all the time. And people want to know, and maybe I'll learn something here tonight as well, is how can an artist or band market themselves in today's industry, in what's available today? So, how can a band or an artist market themselves? What do you think, DJ Razorblade?
Well, like you said, we did cover this, in our earlier seasons. But looking at it now, we're in 2022. We're definitely in a different world, although we are now in February of 2022, and it appears that some of our world is coming back to a sense of normal, which is cool. I'm definitely excited about that. So now I'm looking at it from a different point of view, where I'm looking at it as being in 2022. And I think the one thing that you and I have talked about on many, many, many occasions since we started this podcast was social media, whether it be boosting your posts or doing live feeds, like whatever gets your name out there, hashtags, all that kind of stuff. And with, whatever gets people talking or gets people familiar with who you are and what you're trying to accomplish. Right away, as soon as we start talking about branding, I instantly go to social media, because obviously that is, number one right now with the industry. Because with social media, you can do many things. You can not only boost posts, you could do live videos, you could do live feeds. You could even just get on your, your Facebook page and go, hey, everybody, this is who I am and this is what I'm doing, and check me out in my own studio. And this is how you play song A from my first demo that's coming out or whatever. There's so many ways now that you can kind of reach people that you would never be able to reach before. And if you were able to reach those people before, it would take forever because you're just doing it by mail, where now you're literally just doing it by the click of a button, and the people that don't see it in your time zone can see it later in their time zone. And social media, right off the top of my head, is definitely one of the first things when it comes to branding and get your name out there.
Yeah. Like you were saying, and we have talked about this topic before. We've done it in a couple different formats, and it's definitely one of those topics that is constantly evolving, right?
Yeah.
How marketing was done, say, in the 80s and the 90s, changed in early 2000s and so on. And, prior to the social media rise in the late 2010s, whatever you want to call it, the format keeps changing. And you're learning new things, and new tools always seem to be evolving. Do you know what I mean? Like all the social media platforms are giving you more outlets. And of course, with those outlets and the more tools, there's a cost involved, right? So one of the things I wanted to talk about first is the difference between Facebook ads versus Facebook posts, right?
Okay.
So there's basically two different, right? There's organic and paid advertising. Organic is, Chris goes up to his page and he starts typing in something for a post, drops a picture, maybe some hashtags, a couple neat little sayings or tags and some other stuff like that. And then he hits post. Boom. And it's out there. The world can see it. The thing is, organically like that, regardless of the number of followers or friends that you have, because of the way they have everything worked out, on average, only about 1% of your followers or your friends actually get to see that post.
And not to interrupt you, Mick, but along the same line of that, it's crazy. And when you have a business page or a band page, entertainment page, whatever, you can go into your settings and you can see all the little, how many views this post got and blah, blah, blah. I get more activity on my personal page by tagging, 30 people than I do my band page. Like, it just goes to show you how, just how those business pages just don't see as much as you would think they see.
Well, yeah, absolutely. The thing is because they're not designed to be free anymore, right? Like, Facebook hasn't been offering businesses free things in quite a long time. Like, advertising now they've moved towards paid advertising, right? So then the difference between organic and paid advertising is that with paid advertising, you'll get what you pay for, in a sense.
Yeah.
And it's actually become an essential tool, especially in the social media realm, with Facebook and Instagram being owned by the same company, Meta. They kind of link together, but they each have their own way of generating promotion or ads. You know, you can pick different things, which kind of, again, if you're paying for it, you want to target your audience. So I can see how useful it can be. Now, it can be expensive, depending on what you're trying to do, right? But really, the truth of the matter is, marketing of any kind, real marketing, whether it's now, whether it was the 90s, the 80s, 70s, it always costs something. It always involved some kind of money. Big companies would go to advertising and marketing agencies and say, you know, we need to get our product out there, give us some kind of campaign, and then, you know, how much is it going to cost? And for this amount of money, you get this, and for this amount of money, you get that. Or, you know, here's the budget, and we have it split to, this is radio advertisement, this is billboard advertisement, this is news and print advertisement, this is, you know, word of mouth, taste tests outside of, you know, department stores and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? There's all that different, but that it costs something, and it was never cheap. It was never cheap. That was the problem. That's why a lot of the mom and pop inventors would go to those shows with the hopes that some large company would grab a hold of what they were doing and then put their resources behind it to get it out to the public. I mean, the show, what is that, Shark Tank? Like, it's all built on that. They're looking for that generator, right, to get them out to the public eye. And some of them companies that go there, some of those creators, inventors, you know, whatever, some of their products and businesses that they've already created on their own are doing very well. They want to take it to another level. So, you know, I mean, it all depends on what you're trying to achieve. So these paid advertisements, the good thing about them, in my opinion, is the demographics that you're given. You can pick age and country and regions and different interests, and, you know, you can have them do specific things. So I've used them. I usually use them for videos when I'm trying to get the video seen and, you know, generate some interest in the new single or the album to get them to come back to my website, or, you know, the Facebook page to get them to go to the website or something, you know, something like that. It's just like what we talked about in some other episodes. Spotify has become a necessary evil for many artists and bands. Like, even though there is no real payday, or you may never ever really see anything worth anything, but if you don't have it out there, people are just going to skip over you. I've had people go, oh, that's not on Spotify, or you're not on Spotify. Well, yes, I am. You're either looking the wrong way or you're not looking hard enough, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So I'm out there, but in my opinion, I'm not going to super promote Spotify because it doesn't generate money for me. Streams, what do streams do? Like I told you once before, statistically, those things aren't necessarily generating more album sales for the artist. And they've actually shown that even now, like, you know, press releases and video views and stuff like that aren't generating album sales like they thought they would. Or the numbers aren't as great as they would hope that they would be. So it's kind of like a, you know, give or take type of thing. So can they help you? Yes. You have to determine your budget, really. You know what I mean? I know that I think that on Facebook, the lowest you can go, say you have a video out and you want to, you know, whatever they call it, you know, sponsored post or something like that.
Yeah,
boosted
like
post.
That,
boosted post or something like that. I think the lowest you can go is $1 a day.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Now,
that's correct.
A couple of years ago, that $1 a day could get you a couple thousand views a day. Now, it's like maybe 115 if you're lucky, maybe 200-300. Simply because there's more users. They've changed how the viewership is put out there. You know, those numbers, that algorithm type of stuff, all that behind the scenes jargon of computer data collecting, you know, whatever. But that's in a way so that it entices you, or we can look at it as it forces you to spend more money to get the bigger numbers, right? So even though we talked about in other episodes that for some people, buying likes, buying views, buying this, buying streams is not the way to go, but really that's the way to go today, because it's almost impossible to do it organically, simply because the system has set it up that way so that organically doesn't work. So I mean, right there, the number tells you that organically you put a post out less than, on average, 1% of your followers or your friendship list or whatever is seeing that post. Whether you accidentally or you go look for someone that you haven't seen for a while on Facebook, you're friends with them, as soon as you jump on their page and then come back off and go do your thing, the next day you'll start seeing more posts from them simply because you just did some interaction. Yeah. But if you don't keep that up, it slowly disappears again.
Right. And then you have to get like that badge, right? Like they'll give you like a top badge or whatever. So, you click and you become like one of the people that see your posts.
Yeah,
first
something
or
like that. Yeah. I mean, and I know a lot of the follower pages, like, for celebrities, they'll do those badges as, you're a top fan or a top follower.
Oh, that's it, top fan.
Yeah, something like that. There's a couple different, like if you engage. Like I remember I got one for Paul Stanley. I got one for Dee Snider, which was, for me, was kind of exciting, boom. I mean, whatever. But it's just some things that, to think about.
This is Stephen Pearson from Rat, the Rat Bastard. You're listening to the Cosmick Voice.
Some of the tricks of the trade, like again, listen, most artists, musicians are on a tight budget to no budget. There is no budget. Everybody thinks that while social media is free, we can kind of make something happen. But we've all got lost in that bubble that doesn't exist anymore. It used to, it did early on. But once they realized they got to make money from this, how are we going to get people boxed in to get their money? Well, it's not free for businesses anymore, and everybody sponsors an ad once, boosts an ad. They give you that, like you have that option right in, like as you're building your post. You want to boost this ad?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, people boost posts. So, but there's still a couple little things that you can do. Again, if you're going to work the organic thing for a while, I'm still a fan of organic.
Me too.
That's what shows are, an organic thing. Like when you do live shows, so, you do concerts and touring and stuff, there's still an organic sense to it. So if you play it right, you can build some stuff. And I know you had used some of these tricks and trades after, having some of the shows that we talked about, but like you talk about, you tag people, you tag other pages, you put them in your post, whether it has, you're connected with certain sponsorships or endorsements or certain people you're trying to hit. You just include them. In my opinion, you want to rotate your tagging the best that you can, especially if you're tagging individuals. You got to change it up because some people are funny about tagging. They don't want to be associated with things that they don't know about. Or I know you had some recent experiences where people were getting a little uptight.
Yeah.
And understandably so, because there's so much out there, and I want to make sure that my brand is represented as good as possible. But I think there's right and wrong ways of handling that. And again, we're talking about social media streams here, where it's all built around tagging people and things.
Yes.
And so because we're supposed to be one world connected.
Yes.
But we're really not, right?
That's right.
You know what I mean? Hey, man, we're connected. Just don't tag me, all right? Just don't. You know what I mean? I want to be, I'm connected with you, but I don't want to be connected with you, that type of thing. It's,
I support, but don't tag me.
Yeah, don't tag me anything. I don't want other people knowing. So, another thing that I've learned, if you have a video, I think the max right now is 50 people you can tag on one post.
Yes, that sounds right.
Is that right?
I think so, yeah.
They haven't changed yet. That's been like that for a while. But, you rotate. Maybe you do 15 people if you're trying to promote a video. This way, the way I see it is you tag different people. It changes your normal network of who usually would see you and who may not see you. They'll see you through a mutual relationship, right? And that's kind of, that's why they give you friend recommendations.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because there's a mutual interest, or you viewed some of the same pages, you like some of the same pages, you grew your beard like this, you did, voice impressions like this, you know what I mean? So there's all different kinds of stuff. And sometimes what I like to do is tag people who I normally would never tag.
Right.
I've never tagged, or are outside of the scope a little bit of what we do. And that opens up some new channels. What really, at the end of the day, you're trying to generate some traffic, especially whether you're paid or organic. The whole idea is traffic. And in my opinion, especially if you're not spending any money, any traffic is good traffic. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because
you're 100% right.
It goes back to what you and I have always said. It's one fan at a time, being an artist or a musician, right? So if you tag in 15 people, get somebody from one of those people you tagged's friends just to see it, check it out, and you got 2 more, 3 more views, well, it didn't cost you anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if you're paying per view or per click or per whatever, that stuff can get expensive over time. And at the end of the day, unless it's converting to album sales or people at the shows or ticket sales or more merch sales, you don't really know. So why, in my opinion, again, this is just my opinion, and I'm talking because, coming from back in the day type of marketing to now, like, if you don't have to spend, don't spend.
Right.
But there may be a point in time where you do have to. And if you can budget it correctly and you can balance out the two and you're comfortable with it, it's worth giving it a shot. Because I've had some luck with certain posts, getting it out there, getting the word out. And even with the demographics, at times it's hit or miss. I'll give you an example. We've talked about this on the air here with the Cosmick Voice. We have a YouTube channel called the Cosmic Verse. We'll put some of them on our Facebook page. Well, the week before Thanksgiving of last year, we put one of our episodes up on a Monday, I think it was. Within the week, it got 324 views. Now, is that viral? No. Is that something that I should write a press release about? No. But for us and our little podcast and just doing it on a whim, that's some pretty good numbers to me. For something that it didn't cost us anything to do. Had our podcast converted to video form for free using some apps, and then I just popped it on our, see where it goes.
Yeah.
To this day, I still can't figure out, was it a slow news week? Did I hit it at the right time? Was everybody sitting on the computer at the time I hit post? And, whatever the case may be, but that was a pretty good turnaround. Have I been able to repeat that? No. Do we get some decent numbers? Well, for me, again, having the podcast the way it is, I think we're getting some decent numbers in different pockets.
Yeah.
So, is it paying off? Yes. So, organically still can work, depending on what you're looking to achieve out of it. If you're looking to get the Motley Crue tour and a Grammy that year, and #1 selling album, probably not. Right? But if you're looking at, it's like, hey, it's going to just generate a small little buzz, or it gets you moving in the right direction, if it's building up some confidence in you, so you're learning and you're seeing what's happening, I think it's definitely a way to go, right? Going back to the tagging, just be mindful of the tagging. Don't cause issue for yourself or for your brand or your music, because I've seen people tag like crazy, and because of Facebook's different, and I'll use Facebook just right now as an example, because their standards keep changing and what you can do, what you can't do. If you've agitated someone complains, and then you're, in Facebook jail for 30 days. Well, there you go. Now you're not doing anything organically or paid. Right. So just be mindful of it. Don't do things that you wouldn't want done to yourself.
You are listening to the Cosmic Voice with your hosts, Chris Natalini and Mick Michaels.
Some other things that I would recommend is definitely cross-promote on various platforms. Like I was, again, using the example Facebook and Instagram, you can actually cross-promote a lot of the stuff just by adding a little extra money to the ads and stuff like that, since they're owned by the same company. But when you do that, when you cross-promote, whether you're doing it organically or paid, and you're using other formats like Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever else, you have to have some consistency to your content. So if you're going to put something out there, make it all relatively the same, so when people see it, it's easily recognizable. Yeah. Like if you're promoting something, whether it's your new single or the album, do that consistently with a continuity to all the platforms. This way people can see it. And in my opinion, inevitably, and we talked about this in season 1, you want to lead everybody back to a website. Because it keeps going back and forth. You have your website, then social media became, your main handle. But what's happening is people are starting to realize once again that the social media platform can be pulled in a heartbeat. We don't own anything. It's not ours. Here's an example. there was an Instagram account that was for a number of years, had a good following. I think it was called Meta World. All of a sudden, that person went on, their account was gone. Meta, the new name to Facebook and all, the parent company, had pulled it simply because it had Meta in the name. And they didn't want it to affect their brand. Well, this person had spent a lot of time organically building this page, right, this account over time, back when you could build it at some point. After several months and long back and forth, they did get it back. However, that just goes to show you how quickly things can disappear, right? If the pandemic didn't teach us what we could lose in life, this should teach you what we're going to be able to lose here on the internet. So one of the things that I've always been a fan is have your own website, whether it's a real crazy website or it's just a page that has your band name on it. It doesn't matter. As long as it's yours, you own the domain name, or you pay for it and you pay for the hosting. You want to lead people back to your website. This way the artist controls the content at some point. Instead of looking at social media as the main points, they're feeders. You want to look at them more as feeders to get you back to the website. I don't offer free downloads off of Facebook. To get them, you got to go to my website. And I think that's important because, again, social media is not permanent. We don't own it. A website with our own domain, that's something that's ours, as long as we continue to pay for it. And that's where you want people to come anyway. You want to collect data, names, emails, addresses, build a contact list, database of fans and supporters, right? I mean, from there, you can build a newsletter. You can start generating monthly emails. I do a newsletter once a month, sometimes every 6 weeks, depending on what's going on. Some months, like in December, November, I'll do a double issue because we're offering things specifically for the newsletter subscribers. I have a catch thing there on the page. It pops up after 8 or 9 seconds. It says, join our email newsletter. You can just put it in there and boom. For the people that still use email, there's still plenty of people that use email. They're opting in. It's okay to email them. And again, you're collecting that information because you'll never get that information from Facebook or from Instagram. Right. I mean, you can go in and some people do have their email listed or whatever. You can get some of that information. But again, that could just disappear. Besides, you want them to go back to your site so you can collect this data. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with it. You can sell your merch. You can sell your catalog. You can offer specials to email subscribers, things of that nature. I think it's really important that way. You keep them up to date on shows or, you can do some extra interaction with them. So some things to think about. Some other things, and again, we've talked about a lot of this over the course of the 4 seasons, but we're kind of consolidating right now. And I'm doing a lot more talking because I'm giving Wolfman Jack here the opportunity to rest his voice. You see what I'm saying? I'm a fan of co-op advertising, right? Maybe banner exchanges. Again, this is free stuff. Now, maybe I'm old school and it doesn't make sense anymore. And, younger people are like, that's just, whatever. But it could be simply just banner exchanges. On the Cosmic View, I do banner exchanges and they stay with the interview for its online life, right? So if I have an interview that did 1,000 reads, well, when the person reading gets to the end of that interview, they'll see shared banners. Could be promotional companies, it could be book endorsements, it could be other radio stations that wanted to be a part of that, whatever. But you offer that. Like, I mean, you can do trades, you can offer a small fee depending on, the kind of traffic that you get to your webpage or your blog or, even some of your social media. Like if you have a good handle on what you're doing, you're getting it out there, you're getting the word, so you can offer that in change. It's kind of like a tit for tat promotion thing. That's all it is. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you got to get creative. The way I look at it, man. The old saying is beg, borrow, and steal. Well, barter, trade, co-op. We're trying to do it more, less Robin Hood, more, Knights of Columbus. I don't know. Some other things that you could do, too, to market yourself. And this has become popular in the last couple of years. This was actually very popular before COVID hit. Is doing joint releases with other bands. You can do joint singles, you get one side, they get the other side, joint EPs, everybody gets 3 songs. It could be bands that are in the same genre as you or bands that are in completely opposite genres of you, so you can branch out into new audiences. right? Or you even do a swap, like, maybe they appear on one of your songs and you appear on one of their songs. But the nice thing about that is you can share the costs, you can share the promotion, but you're also sharing the audience and you're sharing the data collected, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot that can happen there. And I remember 2018, 19, some bands had some pretty good success with that.
Yeah.
So, especially at that time, I mean, even not much different now, but the rising cost of production. This is a good way to make it less, but still get something of quality because you're sharing the load with people.
Yep.
It's kind of like bringing in roommates when you get that real expensive apartment because you're excited about it. Then you realize after writing your first check, oh my God. And then all of a sudden, you got you're putting flyers up at every Dunkin' Donuts from here to the other side of the city, trying to get people to come live with you. But again, sharing the cost, share the promotion, but you're also sharing the audience and sharing the data collected. It's as simple as that. It's really good. Some other things, of course, listen, back to the organic touring shows. Nowadays, you can do live streams. You can do as many live streams. You can do daily. You can do hourly. You could do, once a week. They have those things now. What are they called? Reels or something? Like, they're almost like live feeds. And then it's like Facebook and Instagram's version of TikTok.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
They're real short.
Yes.
I'm not sure how long are they, Reels?
I think they used to be 30 seconds, but I think recently they moved it up to like a minute, I think.
Okay. So there's if you're promoting a show or you're getting a little snippet of someone's music or something like that, because I know I use those story things. I put a flyer up, and now that you can put some music in there or whatever. So, I mean, you could live videos, you could upload videos, like I was saying earlier, like what we do here with the Cosmic Voice on our Facebook page. They go up as videos. These episodes will go up as standalone videos. And, you'll get views on them. You share them around, you tag some people, you get part of groups, going back to the Facebook thing, people like to join groups. It's just communities that talk about stuff, and you could share stuff. Yeah. And really, unfortunately, that's what a lot of the groups have become. They're just people just sharing stuff. Sometimes if you look at there's very little interaction, maybe a couple likes, a group may have like 30,000 people, but like each post has like 2 likes. Or something like that, because most people just breeze over it. I have noticed that if people want to chat with one another, they've gotten into that messenger group thing. And these chats will go on 24/7, nonstop, about everything and anything. And, I mean, if you have that kind of time, unfortunately, you're missing out on promoting all your other stuff. So I don't know, it's just the way it goes. Again, you could do YouTube channels or create a series or do what, me and Chris have done. We did a podcast. It's just a way to get the brand out there, and that's part of maybe your own cross-promoting. I recently read something that whatever you're doing in a business, and this just doesn't pertain to music, but whatever you're doing in your business, your brand, your product, your service, you got to do it in different formats because people want to have it the way they want to have it. The streaming services, at the very bottom of a lot of their emails, you get it on Apple, Android, the gaming systems. You get it on your TV, your computer, and each one is slightly different, but it makes it accessible for the guy that wants it on his pad as opposed to the guy that wants to watch it on his phone. The young people that are watching it on their gaming consoles and so on and so forth. Whatever it is you're doing, make it accessible somehow. Like with the music. Some people want waves. Some people want MP3s. Some people, I've seen that, the FLAC, the FLAC. And then those new things that are coming. The new things that are coming out. Whatever the case may be. If they want to get them, make them available on the necessary evils, but also make them available on your website too. Why not? Why, if you want to sell them and get more of the money, the more of that 99 cents or 50 cents, then have them available on your website too. Maybe not everything, just a handful. Yeah. You know what I mean? Something like that. A couple other things. Send out press releases. Facebook used to have this one little button called Notes. They've taken it away. I used to love it. You could do real quick press releases on your own. They were very cool looking. You could add some photos. They had a real nice formatting template to it. People could look at them and you could archive them.
Yeah.
And then you could share them around, and it was really a nice thing. Now it's back to just, it's a post. But the problem with the post is you can't do formatting. There isn't bold and italicize and, and all that kind of stuff. And all the pictures aren't integrated. They're usually at the bottom. Now, they do give you can change the layout now. Some of the layouts are cool and all that kind of stuff. But it's Facebook and all that is geared now towards the paid promotion. The more you do that, hey, listen, that's the way of the world, right? So
what are you going to do?
But if you listen, if you're collecting data, building that contact list, that database of fans and supporters and so forth, because you're getting them back to your main channel, your website, your hub, your headquarters, you can send out press releases that way, as well as getting them out to the media. Now, you guys can't see it, but Chris is shaking his head in complete agreement, and that makes me feel good. You can offer free downloads, create giveaways and discounts, get your merch in order. You know what I've been doing recently, over the last couple months? Every couple weeks, I'll put together a unique merch package. T-shirt, hat, broken drumsticks, some signed stuff by the band, couple CDs or whatever, some maybe even one-offs that there was only a few made, or, this is a one-of-a-kind thing. And then you sell it. You put it up there. Hey, here's something. We like to sometimes include things that we've used on tour, or something that was happening. We've done room key picks, and we've done tour badges, and we've done broken sticks signed by Mad T, done certain tour posters. We'll have the band sign them along with a T-shirt, maybe a skull cap or a patch or whatever the case may be. But I found that when you put together like this hodgepodge of unique things, people seem to like it. They feel that, hey, this is mine. Yeah. This is cool. It's a one-of-a-kind type of package.
Yep.
So, you can do stuff like that. You can offer it as a Facebook post, and you throw it out in some other media outlets as well. When we had done a show similar to this, I think it was in season 1, maybe early season 2, I had suggested that you take one of these social networks, and that's the one you hammer away with. And I'm still a firm believer in that, because there's so many of them. Me, being an older musician, some of that stuff's just too much to do. It's like, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this, you got to do it. If your website is your main hub, then, of course, that has to stay up to date. That has to stay current, whatever it is. But then pick one of the main social media platforms that you've seen the most response from, and make sure that one's well kept as well. There's a constant stream of some new content, so the people are up to date on it. Yeah. And if you have other ones, maybe they don't need to be updated all the time. But I know some people will say one way or the other. But like, in my opinion, like, I have a LinkedIn page for the band, and we've had it for years. It's a different format. It's a different crop of people. They're doing different things and stuff. And that may not necessarily, that didn't seem, as it was, developing, didn't seem the format that was right for us 100% of the time. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
And what we've done is we've tried to kind of mirror what we've done on other platforms, and it just doesn't work the same way. So if you find something that works, you just keep going with it. Work it to death. Because unfortunately, like, there was things that worked for Facebook at one point that don't work the same way now, because they keep changing stuff.
Because they keep,
we brought it up earlier in this show, but we had a whole show about it in season 1, sponsorships, endorsements. Nowadays, it's key. Nobody's giving you anything for free, but if you can save some money there by getting an endorsement on some products that you're using already, why not? Because that money then you can take in and put into your marketing budget, whatever that is. You know what I mean? That's my personal opinion. I mean, this is listen, I've done all this and much, much more. Some of it's worked, some of it hasn't. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. It's a hit or miss. You just got to keep, like I said in the beginning, I just keep throwing things at the wall. I'm not doing it haphazardly per se. I know it make it sound that way, but there is some planning to it, which brings me up. Decide what you want to do. What is it that you want to achieve? Set a plan, and like we said in our last episode, just do it. Stop talking about it. Just do it.
Just do it. Yep.
I don't know, buddy. What do you think? Because, listening to you talking all this time, which I'm not used to, I'm starting to get a real dry throat.
I think just a few things I want to add. I think that, and it's funny because the more that I talk to younger people, younger music fans, I realize that they don't stream their music. You know, they don't pay for Spotify, they don't pay for Pandora or whatever. They get it off of YouTube. And I think that's really interesting that that's where a lot of these younger people get their music. With that being said, we had both said that, social media is a huge important thing. I think building your YouTube page is definitely something that you should be doing because, YouTube is kind of where it's at, maybe number 2 under streaming, if it really is number 2. I've never looked at the stats, so I don't know. But if people are getting their music from YouTube, then you really want to consider building up your YouTube. And in that, also in your YouTube and your links, make a Bandcamp page. I love Bandcamp. I am a huge Bandcamp guy. I think it's killer when they do the free 100% goes to the artist Fridays or whatever it is. I think that's great. And they do it more. They do it all the time. It's not like they do it once a year or once every 6 months. They do it often. And, that's Bandcamp is a huge thing to get your music out there because a lot of people do listen to Bandcamp. I mean, they do. They buy stuff off of Bandcamp. And you can link your merch, like you said. Maybe if you don't, I know you're big on the websites. Let's just say someone doesn't have the money for a website. You got Bandcamp. You can, link all your merch, all your stuff right through Bandcamp and link that right from your YouTube. So there's plenty of ways that you can get, your name and your music out there. And in the meantime, branding yourself market yourself, get those likes, get those listens, get those views up. I think YouTube and Bandcamp are definitely 2 strong things, at least right at the moment.
Yeah, I definitely agree with YouTube. I'm a YouTube user, not just for music, listening to music, but other things as well. It's out there if you're looking for it. There's a lot of information. Yeah. Additionally, I like that Chris brought up a point. Like, if you can't afford a website per se, there are services that give free websites.
Oh,
it's a limited,
yep, that too.
Right? Of course, It's going to have their web address and then your name. I do suggest if you can't afford hosting in that way, but I would get my own domain name. Nowadays, I mean, you can get them under $20 a year. That way, you're branding your name. Whatever it is, whether it's your name as the artist or your band's name or something, I would definitely suggest getting that. Small investment, considering. And then you can have that somewhere else. You can have it parked. You can have it lead to whatever you could put it out there wherever you get the domain name. Sometimes they give you a free URL link to it. You could link it right to your Facebook page. So if people just put in, and this is not how it goes, but if you put cornersofsanctuary.com, I could have it directed to my Facebook page. It goes to cornersofsanctuary.com, but you can get it set up. So we'll do that. Or it can go to whatever your main platform is. It doesn't matter. On the internet, your band name is represented by a www. something. I'm still a fan of the .com, if you can get a .com, because that's what most people's mind goes to. .tv,
100%.
.net, .this, don't do this, .that. It gets confusing. Everybody wants to go to the .com. It's just real easy. That's just statistically, that's what it shows. I agree with it because if you're not sure, because even when people make jokes about something, it's something .com, right? Because it's
.com,
it's so ingrained into the mind now. So it'd be definitely. Yeah. But additionally, there are plenty of things out there that you could Google search or Bing search or Microsoft search or whatever else it is you want to search. Things that you could do for free for a band, right? Or services that are offered. Now, again, you get what you pay for, but if you're just trying to get your feet wet, you're trying to get experience, you're trying to learn the ropes, you're trying to just get it out there at first because you're not sure what you want to do, then this is a great way of doing it. There are plenty of services that you could get that offer, like I said, free websites. You can get, your music up there. You don't have to pay for anything. Or if you need a video editor, there's free video editors. There's free music editors. There's free music recorders. There's shareware that people have put together. There's tons of stuff that you could do. If your budget is nothing right now, or you're unsure what you want to do or how you want to take it, and you're just trying to get your feet wet, trying to get some education, some information under your belt, and try some things. But again, like I said, get a plan, know what it is you want to do and accomplish, and just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Well, if you like that, or if you like Chris's voice and you want to hear it more, check it out at www.thecosmickvoice.com. You can listen to old episodes. You can listen to new episodes. Don't be afraid to step into the Cosmic Verse. Thanks, everyone, for listening. This is the Cosmic Voice. Be sure to check us out at thecosmicvoice.com. Like and follow us on Facebook at The Cosmic Voice. You can find The Cosmic Voice everywhere you listen to online podcasts, like Deezer, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Stitcher, and so many more.
Okay, folks, that will do it for another episode of The Cosmic Voice. Mick and I would like to say thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
You're listening to The Cosmic Voice. Music, talk, and nothing but business.